Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So last week we completed 17 faraid of the Salah, and we were looking at those du'as and afkar which you can recite afterwards. So we went through a few of them. I think we stopped at the dua which goes Allahumma inna ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik, meaning, oh Allah, help me remember you and thank you and to worship you properly. So it is thereafter we recite the kalima tawheed, which goes La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. And the translation is, there is none worthy of worship except Allah. He is alone, He has no partner. For Him is the sovereignty, and for Him is the praise. In His hand is all ability. Okay? Then they say the kalima tawheed may also be read after the Subuh and Maghrib Salah 11 times. In one riwayah, meaning in one narration, it is mentioned that this kalima tawheed be read 11 times after Asr Salah. Reciting this kalima on these occasions has great reward. Thereafter we can read Allahumma a'inna ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik, again meaning, oh Allah, help me to remember you, to thank you and to worship you properly. Then we can read our tasbih 33 times each of these. So the first one goes Subhanallah, meaning purity belongs to Allah. So we read this 33 times. Then afterwards we read Alhamdulillah, meaning all praise to Allah. All praise be to Allah. Again 33 times. Thereafter we read Allahu Akbar. We can read this either 33 times or 34 times to make up 100. So this is to complete 100 dhikr or 100 adhkar, the kalima tawheed or Allahu Akbar should be recited once. So 33, 33, 33, and the last one to make up the 100, you can either say Allahu Akbar again, or you can read the kalima tawheed, which goes, which we read, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Okay? After this, any dua may be performed where one should ask Allah, or Almighty Allah, for success in this world and the hereafter. It is sunnah for the Imam that after the final salam, when making this dhikrullah, he should sit with his right side to the jama'ah and his left side towards the qibla. It is makruh, meaning it is disliked in salah to look up towards the ceiling or look around. Okay? So as you're standing in salah, as you're sitting in sujood, as you're in ruku, it is makruh to look around. So looking up, looking to your left, looking to your right. Okay? It is makruh to perform salah with one sleeve or dressed in a one sleeve or dressed in a trouser in which the form of the private part is apparent. So tight clothing, for instance. Okay? Then it says it is also makruh to perform salah dressed in clothes with motifs which would distract the other musallis in their salah. So if you perhaps wearing a gold glitter top and a guy when you're standing ahead of someone, that that kind of clothing which will draw other people's attention away from the salah. Okay? So when we're performing salah, we shouldn't also just be bothered that our salah is correct, but we should be thinking about the next person, our fellow brother, our fellow sister performing salah with us. So we should try and make it easy on them to perform their salah correctly as well. And we do this, like I said, by wearing clothing which won't distract them, or it's said it's also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's makruh to eat garlic before you come to perform salah, because garlic has a very pungent, it has a very strong odor. So the person standing next to you, that odor will travel towards him and they'll smell that, and it will be a distraction for them. And not just garlic, anything, any other bad smells, especially from the mouth or the clothing. That's why we perform wudu before salah, and it's also sunnah before salah to perform miswak too, just to take away some of the odor. Okay. Then it is makruh to perform salah with an urge to relieve oneself. Okay, so sometimes we have to go to the bathroom, but we don't want to make wudu again. So we squeeze in, we squeeze and we try to perform Salah. Now the problem with this is, as we're performing Salah, we're not performing Salah solely for the pleasure of Allah. We're performing Salah to get it done, so that I can go to the bathroom. So if you think about it, you're distracted. So that's one of the reasons why it is makruh to perform Salah with the urge, to go to the bathroom or to leave one's house. Okay, so just rather take the long way around. You'll get, in the end of the day, you'll get more reward. And then it is also makruh to perform Salah in a church, synagogue, or in a graveyard. Okay, so we can perform Salah anywhere. If you're on the beach, you can perform Salah on the beach. If you're in the forest, if you're in the desert, anywhere, if it's clean, or if it's clean, you can perform Salah. If it's not clean, if you have a Salah mat, or if you have an item of clothing, like we said, the minimum that has to be clean when you perform Salah is the place where you put down your forehead. So if you have a tissue, you can put that down. That is the minimum that has to be there for our Salah to be correct. But we know that it's makruh. If we say, for instance, we live in an area where perhaps, let's say, the Muslims are being attacked, the mosques are being attacked, or the mosque burned down, and our Christian community, they invite us, brothers, sisters, you're more than welcome to use our church to pray Salah in. If it is very, in that moment, if it's a need, it's fine to perform Salah in there, if there's no other alternative, but it is makruh. So you can't perform there, it's just a slight. Okay? So we've looked at the Salah, the Faraid of the Salah, and those adhkar and dua which come after the Salah, and we've also looked at those things which are makruh to do while performing Salah. Now we look at the Sunnah Salahs. So those Salahs that come before and after a Fard Salah. Okay? So they say in total there are 20 Sunnah Rak'ahs which are attached to 5 Fard Salahs. Okay, so 20. So we have five Fard Salahs. Divided between them, there are 20 Sunnah Rak'ahs which we can perform. Okay? So the first 4 are those 4 before the Dhuhr Salah, which are performed in sets of 2, and the niyyah for each of these sets are نويت أصلي سنة الصلاة الظهر قبلية ركعتين لله تعالى, meaning I perform the 2 Sunnah Rak'ahs before Dhuhr Salah for Allah. Okay, so there are 4 before Dhuhr, and you read the niyyah which says qabliyatan. Take note of that. The qabliyatan meaning before Dhuhr Salah and for Allah. Those are the first 4. And then after those, the 4 before Dhuhr, we have another 4 after Dhuhr. And remember, and note that these 4 rak'ahs, they aren't performed as we perform Dhuhr 4 together. You perform them in sets of 2. So the niyyah again goes نويت أصلي سنة الصلاة الظهر بعدية. So the first, for those before was قبلية, meaning before. Now the 4 after is بعدية, meaning after. ركعتين, 2 rak'ahs لله تعالى for Allah. Okay, so those are the first 8. Then we've got another 4 rak'ahs before Asr. Okay, and again the niyyah goes نويت أصلي سنة الصلاة العصر قبلية, before ركعتين, 2 rak'ahs لله تعالى for Allah. Okay, and after Asr there's none, and then the next 2 are those 2 before Maghrib. So we have 8 for Dhuhr. Now we've got 4 for Asr, which is 12 altogether. Now we have 2 rak'ahs after Maghrib, which is 14. So again, the niyyah will go نويت أصلي سنة الصلاة المغرب before, because it's after Maghrib, بعدية لله تعالى. Okay. Then we have another 2 before Isha and 2 after Isha. So 14 plus another 4. Now we're up to 18. We said there's 20, so now I have 18. So we have the 2 before after Maghrib. Then we have 2 before Isha and 2 after Isha. And then the final 2 are those 2 before Fajr. And those two before Fajr, it is said in a narration, speaking under correction, something to the effect that those two rak'ahs before Fajr Salah, they are more, you get more reward for them than all this whole world. To everything that this world contains, those two rak'ahs before Fajr, in the eyes of Allah, holds more reward than everything that this world contains. All the gold, all the diamonds, all the cars, everything that this world contains, those are more rewardful, those are higher in the eyes of Allah. Okay? So just to wrap it up, just to go over what we said, we've got the 4 before Dhuhr, we've got 4 after Dhuhr, we've got 4 before Asr, there's none after Asr, so then we've got 2 before Maghrib, 2 after Maghrib, 2 after Maghrib only, 2 before and 2 after. Just 2 after Maghrib, then 2 before Isha and 2 after Isha, and then 2 before Fajr. Okay. So they say, in the niyyah of every sunnah salah, the waqt, meaning the time of each salah is like Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, should be named. The number of rak'ahs, meaning rak'atain, we say rak'atain, it means 2 rak'ahs, the number of rak'ahs, and whether they are qabliyatan, meaning proceeding, or ba'diyatan, following. Okay? As was mentioned above, for examples, for Dhuhr. These 20 rak'ah are called rawatib. All of them, 10 are sunnah mu'aqqada, meaning it's a very good sunnah, it's an emphasized sunnah. Those 10 which are sunnah mu'aqqada is the 2 before and 2 after Dhuhr, 2 after Maghrib, 2 after Isha, and 2 before Fajr. Okay? So we normally, we make, for Dhuhr, that's where the big difference is. Instead of making 4, we make the 2 before Dhuhr and 2 after. For Asr, we make 2 before. Those who form part of the Sunnah Mu'aqqada. Okay? These rawatib are performed in the same time laid down for the respective fara'id. Thus, the Sunnah for Dhuhr cannot be performed with the Fard of Asr. These Sunnahs which come after the Fard must be performed after the Fard. Okay? So, you can't perform Dhuhr Sunnahs if you perhaps forgot to make, or you didn't have time to make those 4 sunnahs or 8 sunnahs for Dhuhr. Now you say, okay, now I'm going to make it when I make Asr. It doesn't work like that. You have to make the sunnahs in their respective times, in their respective waqts. And also the sunnahs which comes after, so the 4 or 2 that comes after Dhuhr, or the 2 that comes after Maghrib, the 2 that comes after Isha, you can't make those 2 before you make your Fard Salah. Those 2 has to come afterwards. Okay? But if you perhaps forgot about the preceding 2, the qabliyatan, those 2 which come before the Salah, so the 2 before Fajr, or the 2 before Dhuhr, or the 2 before Asr, 2 before Isha, if you forgot to make them, you can make them after the Salah. That is permissible, it is fine. Or perhaps if you came late for the Jama'ah and you didn't want to miss the Salah with the Imam, then you can shift those 2 till after the Salah. Okay? So that if a person had performed his fard with sunnahs and then discovers that a mistake had been made through which the Salah became batil, meaning incorrect, he has to repeat the fard including the sunnahs. So if you in the Salah, let's say you broke while you perform Salah, and in that case, if anything that makes the Salah incorrect, or if you forgot to recite Surah Fatiha, or if you leave out any of the 17 fara'id, to get your reward for that sunnah, you have to make the sunnah again and then the fard, so not just the fard. Okay? Furthermore, if one forgot to perform, okay, so this is what I mentioned, if you forgot to perform the sunnahs before, you can always make them afterwards, but not other way around, not before, not after, before. Okay. So if you look at the sunnah salahs before and after of Fard Salah, now we look at the Witr Salah, which comes after Isha. So Salatul Witr after Isha is Sunnah Mu'aqqada, meaning again it's a very good Sunnah, it's emphasized Sunnah. it may be performed any amount of rak'ahs in an uneven number from 1, which is the least, to 11, the most. So any uneven number of rak'ahs you can perform between 1 and 11. So you can make 1, you can make 3, you can make 5, you can make 7, you can make 9, and 11 would be the most. Okay? Performing only one will be correct, but the reward is drastically lessened. Whereas it is best to perform more. Normally we make them in 3, so 2 sets, 1 set of 2 and then one single rak'ah. According to the common custom, it is normally 3 rak'ahs. It is thus makruh to perform less than 3. According to Imam Shafi'i, it is makruh to perform all 3 continuously with 1 salam. So like I said, we make the 2 in a pair of 2, and the third one we'll make as a single rak'ah. It is best to perform a salah at the end of 2 rak'ahs and then perform a salam again at the end of the third. It is also sunnah to recite after Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-A'la, meaning that Sabbih Isma Rabbika Al-A'la, that surah. In the first rak'ah, Surah Al-Kafirun, Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun. In the second rak'ah, and Surah Al-Ikhlas, meaning Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq, Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Falaq, and Surah Al-Nas. So those the 3 calls that you recite in the last rak'ah. So the first 2 you do Sabbih Isma Rabbika Al-A'la, second one you do Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun, and your last, so that's the first 2, and then your last one, which you make separate from the first 2, that you recite after you read the Surah Fatiha. You read all 3 of those surahs. So you read Qul Huwallahu Ahad, you read Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq, Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, all 3 of them in 1 rak'ah. It is also sunnah to perform witr with jama'ah in Ramadan, and also recite Dua al-Qunut in the last rak'ah of witr during the second half of Ramadan. So a lot of the mosques that I know in Cape Town, this is part of the Tarawih program, where after the 20 rak'ahs of Tarawih, the Jama'ah performs witr together in congregation. And then also, like as we said, towards the second half of the month of Ramadan, the Dua al-Qunut, which we as Shafi'i, we recite this in our Fajr Salah. Then again, in the second half of Ramadan for witr, we recite this in the last rak'ah of witr. So if you're making 3, we recite the Dua al-Qunut in the last rak'ah of witr Salah. Okay. Then the next sunnah salah that we have is Salatul Duha, meaning it is the sunnah salah to be performed in the early part of the day after sunrise, and its time is normally given as being from the time when the sun has risen, the length of his sphere into the heavens until midday. Okay, so I think the time should be, they do show it on don't they show it on the, okay, so you just have to look out for the sun then. So like we said, in the early part of the day after sunrise, so the sun has risen completely, and its time is normally given as being the time from when the sun has risen, the length of a spear into the heavens until midday. So let's say, what would the length of a spear be? About 2 meters. So if you look at the horizon and you are fortunate enough and you can see the sun, and you can estimate kind of, okay, if I think that's the length of a spear. I think this will be just down to your discretion, but to be safe, any time just after the sun has risen from the horizon. Okay? And then from that time until midday, meaning until the sun is straight above you, just that's about, I think, about 12:30 side. So from when the sun has risen till that time, that is the time in which you can perform Salatul Duha. The least number of rak'ahs is 2, and the most is 12 rak'ahs. According to the hadith, this is a salah of great virtue, fadail and blessing. So if you perform the Salah, it's very virtuous and you get a lot of reward. Note, since the time for Salatul Ishraq falls within the time of Salatul Duha, Salatul Ishraq is not dealt with as a separate Sunnah Salah, but nevertheless, due to its well-defined virtue in the Hadith, it is advisable to perform the Salah too. The niyyah for this is نويت أصلي سنة الضحى ركعتين لله تعالى. Meaning, I perform Sunnah Salatul Duha, 2 rak'ahs for Allah. Okay, we'll stop here for today and we'll continue not next week when we get back from our break. We'll continue with Salatul Tahajjud, Salatul Tahiyatul Masjid and other Sunnah Salahs. After that we'll look at those things which nullify the Salah, meaning those things which break the Salah. Okay, Shukran, Alaikum Salam wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh.